It's another beautiful Sunday. Welcome to Iron Ports. Iron Ports is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Services, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times BNFT. Get the Thursday edition of the BNFT newspaper for all the insights if you miss anything from the discussion this evening. Remember, you can also join us via all our social media handles. On Facebook, we're streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, also at the Port of Tema, and on YouTube, we're streaming live at Iron Ports. Remember, BNFT newspaper will support you with all that you'll be missing this evening. And remember, you can also join us live via all our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's on Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, just like I mentioned to you. Remember, you also get the opportunity to interact with us via our dedicated WhatsApp line, 053 803 7353, 053 803 7353. We will also open the phone lines in the course of the show for you to make your contributions towards the discussion. So grab your phones, let's get interactive. I'll introduce my guest, a very fine lady who knows everything about customs that you need to know after this break.
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP, available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Welcome to the GPHA port of Takoradi, Ghana's first commercial port. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, has in its quest to position the ports of Ghana as the leading trade and logistics hub of West Africa, embarked on a massive expansion drive at its Takoradi port, the first commercial port of the country. This has resulted in a radical transformation of the initial 7-berth low-drafted port, which was constructed in 1928, to an ultra-modern port fitted with deep-drafted container, multi-purpose dry bulk, and liquid bulk facilities. The 16-meter deep dry bulk terminal is the deepest in the sub-region, with a total quay length of 800 meters. It is fitted with a combined 3-kilometer length conveyor system, which comes with a 2,500 metric tons per hour ship loading capacity, which has greatly improved ship turnaround time at the port. The Marshall Liquid Bulk Terminal is a fully automated liquid bulk facility dredged to -14 chart datum and equipped with automated firefighting system. The facility is fitted with 5 loading arms for gasoline, diesel, LPG, bitumen, and heavy fuel. On the container side, Takoradi Port's 16-meter deep Yield-Port and ATSL container terminal with a quay length of 600 is expected to receive container vessels in the 3rd quarter of the year.
And so if you frequent the port, you will know that a lot happens at the port on a day-to-day basis. So here is an update of what you missed at the port and in the maritime industry.
The Acting Chief Justice of Ghana, His Lordship Justice Paul Bafuboni, has emphasized the crucial role of the judiciary in ensuring fairness and confidence in Ghana's transport and logistics sector, following the passage of the Ghana Shippers Authority Act 2024. His speech was delivered on his behalf by Grace Opon-Dolphy, Chief State Attorney, at the opening of the 15th Maritime Law Seminar for Judges of the Superior Courts held in Accra. The 2-day seminar, jointly organized by the Ghana Shippers Authority and the Judicial Training Institute, brought together judges, legal experts, and industry stakeholders to deepen understanding of maritime, logistics, and international trade law. Delivering the Acting Chief Justice's address, Grace Opon-Dolphy said, the successful implementation of the Ghana Shippers Authority Act, Act 1122, requires a judiciary that is conversant with its provisions and capable of interpreting them with clarity, precision, and fairness. She cautioned that excessive interference in private contracts could hinder trade efficiency and urged judges to ensure that decisions promote fairness, due process, and investor confidence. The acting Chief Justice, through his representative, also called for continuous capacity building, enhanced collaboration with regulatory bodies, and the establishment of specialized courts for trade and logistics cases.
The Ghana Shippers Authority Act 2024 is a bold step forward. It reflects the will of the state to bring structure, discipline, and fairness to the critical sector of our economy. But like all good laws, it will require diligent implementation, ongoing oversight, and principled adjudication.
On his part, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo, described the judiciary and the authority as twin pillars of Ghana's commercial justice system. He said the authority is finalizing a legislative instrument to operationalize the Shippers Act and called for judicial input to ensure fairness and practical enforcement.
The GSA is on the verge of finalizing a new legislative instrument to operationalize its new act. The LI, when passed by Parliament, will enhance the practical effect of the regulatory intent of our act. As was the case with the act, the draft is going through the motions, including a review by the Office of the Honorable Attorney General to ensure that it is fit for purpose. It is our considered belief that input drawn from your well of judicial experience would be valuable in ensuring a fair and implementable LI.
The seminar, now in its 15th year, forms part of efforts to strengthen the adjudication of maritime and transport-related cases and promotes Ghana's vision of becoming a competitive logistics hub under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. The Ghana Chamber of Shipping, in collaboration with the Women in Maritime of West and Central Africa, WIMOCA Ghana, and the Women's International Shipping and Trading Association, Western Ghana, has rounded off this year's Pink October celebrations with a breast cancer awareness event held at the GPHA Towers in Tema. The event, which was supported by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Maritime Authority, International Maritime Hospital IMA, and other maritime sector agencies and companies, brought together women and men from across the industry to reaffirm their commitment to the fight against breast cancer. Speaking at the ceremony, the General Manager of Procurement at GPHA and President of the Port Ladies Association PLAS, Philippa Amanda Ama, urged women to show solidarity with colleagues going through breast cancer journeys and to make regular self-examinations and screenings a lifelong commitment.
Over the years, our interest in this kind of awareness is waning, and I find it sad because it is when you relax that then the disease will take control and cause more harm. So please, let's be our sisters keepers. Let's ensure that we are creating awareness. We are reminding people. Anytime there's an opportunity, bring a friend. Don't come alone and go and learn about it or learn something new alone. Bring a friend.
President of Western Ghana, Gertrude Ohene-Esieni, emphasized the importance of sustaining enthusiasm each year toward bridging the knowledge gap on breast cancer and encouraging early detection among women in the maritime fraternity.
Behind every statistics are real people, and these people are our mothers, our sisters, our friends, and our loved ones. Therefore, it is important that we do this yearly. And therefore, these stories remind us that the breast cancer is not just a medical condition. It is deeply human experience that tests our strength, but also reveals our unity and compassion.
Director of Administration at the Ghana Maritime Authority and President of WIMOCA Ghana, Janet Hotman Addy, reaffirmed her association's dedication to uplifting women within and beyond the maritime sector. She urged women to take charge of their health and to use platforms like Pink October to spread awareness and empower one another.
While the precise cause of breast cancer remains unknown, what we do know is that prevention and vigilance matters. Let us eat well, live consciously, and commit to regular exercise, even if it's just a short walk each day. As professionals and institutions, we must also foster workplace wellness culture, where health checks are normalized and compassion becomes a policy.
The Executive Secretary of the Ghana Chamber of Shipping, Gloria Nora Bamfoa, highlighted the need for maritime professionals to prioritize their health, noting that regular medical checkups are as essential as the work they do in sustaining the nation's blue economy.
We must ask, what are the real-time solutions that can dismantle the barriers preventing early detection? I'll say first, we have to advocate for mandatory paid screening leaves. We must lobby our industry members in the Ministry of Health to normalize preventive health. I am calling for a policy that mandates 2 paid protected days per year, specifically for preventive health checks, including mammograms, clinical breast exams, and gynecological checks.
Delivering the health talk, Dr. Edward Boateng, consultant surgeon at the International Maritime Hospital, outlined what breast cancer is, its causes, and the importance of awareness. He also detailed IME's ongoing outreach initiatives aimed at early detection and public education.
Now, we ask ourselves, a new lump in the breast, if it is cancerous, should it be painful? The good answer is this. Usually, the lumps which are cancerous are not painful until very late in the stages of breast cancer. They are just not painful. So if you find any lump in your breast which is not painful, please don't say that, oh, this is not a painful lump, so I am going to watch it. Come to us quickly and then we'll check it out.
As part of the program, free breast screening was conducted by the IMA medical team, who also demonstrated the proper techniques for self-breast examination, empowering participants to take proactive steps in maintaining their health.
We want to get a fine skill of our breast, we sure we don't miss out on the lamp in any part of the breast, and we're doing it in a circular motion.
A highlight of the program was an inspiring testimony by Suzanne Malik, a 6-year breast cancer survivor who shared her journey of resilience and hope, encouraging others to take breast health seriously.
We have all been told to concentrate on lumps, so your focus has been on just the breast, the protruded part. But breast cancer, from research, it can start from your armpit, and it can even start from your neck area, because your lymph nodes are all around. Mine didn't start with a lump. It didn't start. It started with a chest pain because of the lymph nodes in my chest area.
The event concluded with a call for continuous awareness creation and regular screenings as the maritime community reaffirmed its commitment to promoting women's health and wellness.
And that's by way of updates. And of course, let's check out the phrase of the day. And today it's hybrid propulsion. Hybrid propulsion.
Hybrid propulsion refers to a system combining wind or renewable energy with traditional engines to improve fuel efficiency and cut emissions.
And that's your phrase of the day. But before we check out our health and safety tip, let's check out what is happening in the international world.
European ship owners and airlines are urging the European Commission to accelerate the rollout and affordability of clean maritime and aviation fuels through the Sustainable Transport Investment Plan. They call for reinvestment of ETS revenues, priority access to clean fuels, and expanded funding through the EU Innovation Fund. Transport and Environment also stressed the need for stronger support for e-fuels and continuation of the Alternative Fuels Infrastructure Facility to 2027. The new liner Origin, the world's first large wind-propelled cargo ship, completed its maiden Atlantic voyage from France to St. Pierre-et-Miquelon despite storm damage to one of its sails. The hybrid-powered vessel combines sail and engine propulsion and will proceed to Baltimore after repairs. The 6,300 deadweight ton ship is seen as a prototype for greener shipping, capable of cutting emissions by up to 80%.
And those were some happenings on the international world. Let's now check out the health and safety tip for today: traffic and movement control.
Traffic and movement control. In the port environment, it is essential to clearly mark pedestrian walkways separately from vehicle paths to reduce the risk of accidents. All drivers and equipment operators must strictly follow speed limits and traffic signs within the port area. Reflective cones or barriers should be used to manage movements during loading and unloading operations, ensuring that both workers and vehicles operate safely.
And that's your safety and health tip for today. Because we care about you, we always do this to keep you in shape. Now, our discussion this evening will focus on one of the biggest challenges, regulatory, economic, and security challenges that affect every nation. I'm talking about importation and exportation of prohibited and restricted goods. In Ghana, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority plays a central role in ensuring that goods entering or leaving the country comply with established trade laws and also international conventions. This evening, we'll be exploring how the managers of this law, or the customs, let me put it that way, they manage prohibited and restricted goods within Ghana's ports and borders, focusing on enforcement strategies, stakeholder collaboration, and public awareness. We'll also highlight the legal frameworks that govern trade restrictions, including the Customs Act, the Harmonized Commodity Description, and the coding system, whilst investigating how customs identifies, monitors, and disposes of such goods. Luckily for me in the studio, or let me say, I'm so privileged to have this beautiful lady who has joined me in the studio and who really knows the inside out of the Customs Act and all the other regulatory frameworks that govern these restricted and prohibited goods. She has joined me in the studio, CRO Winifred Odoi. She's head imports and exports at GRA Customs Division. I'm really, really happy to see you in the studio. How have you been? CRO, great. So I think that to really put this whole conversation into perspective, it will be good for you to actually help our viewers understand the difference between prohibited and restricted goods, as we refer to them. Okay, can you turn on your microphone? I'm sorry, just press the knob there. Yes, I think you have to start all over again because your microphone was off when you started.
I said the
Section 151.
Section 151 defines what prohibited goods and restricted goods are. It states that prohibited goods are goods whose importation or exportation are prohibited by law. And these are goods by which all trade standards are illegal, and they are barred from being imported or exported because they breach international trade and regulations. Restricted items, on the other hand, are goods whose importation and exportation are restricted by law. And these are goods that require licenses, permits, or certificates and other approvals to ensure they are regulated to meet statutory requirements.
Okay. So now that we have the basis for our conversation, we know what restricted goods are, what prohibited goods are, by section 151, as you rightly said, of Act 891. Now, let's look at the instrument, the legal instruments, regulations, one of which is the Customs Act, Act 891, which guide customs in managing these prohibited and restricted goods.
Okay, so the Act, starting from section 17 and section 18, section 17 demands the master of a ship to report goods that they bring. Section 18, it mandates them that if you don't report, it becomes prohibited items and you pay. Section 37 looks at coastwise trading, importation through the coastwise that are either restricted or prohibited. When you look at section 58, it talks about prohibitions. You cannot bring right-hand drive vehicles unless approved by the minister. And here the minister means Minister of Finance. When you look at section 59, it indicates that when you are allowed to bring the goods, the vehicles in, you must clear them within 60 days. If you don't, after the 60 days, government will forfeit them. So it now becomes a prohibited item. Something that wasn't initially becomes a prohibited item. When you go to section 121, it talks about importation of prohibited and restricted items. When you look at section 124, it talks about conveyance used in the importation of prohibited and restricted items. And when you file this law, the goods will be forfeited. Section 137 also talks about sale of prohibited goods. When you are caught selling prohibited goods, the goods will be forfeited.
Okay. So I want you to hit more on section 58, which deals with the vehicles. And I suspect that's one of the most, one of the issues that really you deal with at the port. What really are the challenges you face in dealing with some of these restricted and prohibited goods at the port?
The law demands that within a certain framework, you must do certain regulations. So like 58 says, don't bring in right-hand vehicles unless approved by the minister. So if you bring it in without an approval, it becomes a challenge for us, and we will be compelled to forfeit or seize the item. When it comes to restricted items, under the CET, we have the schedules that have spelled out goods that are prohibited. When you look at the 6th schedule, Part A talks about prohibited importations. I don't know, there are a list, I can mention some few. You are not allowed to bring in animals and carcasses infected with diseases. You cannot bring in beads or inflammable cellulose. You cannot bring coffee, that is raw coffee, imported overland. You cannot bring in coins. You cannot bring in food that is contaminated, as declared by a health officer. We have knuckle dusters. We have scandalous literature. We have money based on counterfeit. We have obscene articles. We have weapons and dangerous articles. These things, you cannot bring them. They are totally prohibited. We have used liquefied petroleum gas cylinders. We have firecrackers, that is display shells, artillery shells. We have ball and canister shells. We have incandescent filament lamps. Recently, we added used fridges, used freezers, used air conditioners, second-hand, or used handkerchiefs. These things are prohibited by law. So when we bring them in, that one, total forfeiture. Then we have the law also talks about conditional prohibitions, which we normally call the restricted items. And some organizations are mandated to bring in certain things. So like the Foreign Exchange Act allows Bank of Ghana to bring in banknotes, bank coins. You can bring in rough diamonds, rough uncut. We have a certain organization that allows in films, cinematography, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, goods bearing designs and imitation of money, Bank of Ghana, goods imported contrary to customs laws, goods regulated by law. You have plant and plant products, so the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, they monitor these ones. We have arms and ammunition, the Ministry of Interior handles this.
So it's obvious that the law has clearly stated. It has. It's clearly stated, but you still face challenges at the port. Why?
I would say it is human nature. People are into their businesses. Some may not know. Some may not know.
But that's not even an excuse. I mean, ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
That is where we come in and we continuously educate the public, like through platforms like this. We come up with programs to educate them on, because some people don't really know. There was an issue where an importer went in and brought in unlabeled diapers. Diaper is not restricted, but because they are unlabeled, what the quality was stamp standard, the person does not really know in this case. And the standard authority had to destroy these goods. So some portion of ignorance can be part of it.
Okay, who would you blame for this ignorance?
I won't blame anybody because we've been around, Customs GRA has been around for a very long time, and we have been doing these apart from business people who also are bent on making their monies. So there are some people who do just find any way to make their monies. So they don't really care. We have the people like that.
I wanted you to also explain more about, because you talked about some vehicles that are just prohibited. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. I know about this, like old age. If the vehicle is a certain age old, you can't bring them. I want you to elaborate more on that.
Okay, so you can bring in vehicles after when their manufacturing year has gone beyond 10 years. It starts attracting penalties. In fact, you can bring in.
You can bring it in.
25-year vehicle, but the law.
You pay more.
Yes.
Okay.
The law would deal with you. So it is not motivating to bring in vehicles that have gone beyond 10 years.
Beyond 10 years. Okay. So now we've all agreed that one of the reasons people still flout the laws is lack of education, or they are unaware of what the law says.
And then they decide that they are business people who are bent on making their monies.
Well, that's their business, because the law will deal with you, right? But I know certainly customs cannot do this alone. Which other agencies do you collaborate with? I know FDA, and how has the collaboration been? Because if all these other agencies do not come in, it will be difficult for you to execute your job.
So we collaborate all these organizations that monitor and approve.
Which other organizations? I know about FDA. Which other organizations are we talking about?
So we have the Energy Commission, we have EPA, we have MOFA, we have MOTI, we have Bank, even when it comes to Forest Exchange, we have Bank of Ghana, because you cannot bring exports more than 10,000 dollars out of the country.
And I think EPA is
we have EPA, mentioned EPA.
Yeah. Okay. So how has the collaboration been so far?
I know there are lots of committees that have been formed with the aim of collaborating. I am on a lot of such committees. So day in, day out, we share information amongst us, and we help ourselves to. Yeah.
Let's get into the technicalities of your job, because you can't just see a vehicle or, you know, goods that people have brought in and just say that this is prohibited, this is restricted. How do you really identify? Do you have like how do you call it, standard rules that you follow to be able to tell that this is not meeting the requirement? How do you do it actually?
Okay, so we use intelligence more in identifying
Because I
restricted.
know that people bring in vehicles, for instance, which is more than 10 years old. Some will change their chassis numbers. They will reverse their, the age. They will take it to a certain year just to confuse you. But mostly you are able to detect. That's why I'm asking this question.
So bringing in vehicles that are 10 years and above is not really a problem.
But you pay more.
Yes.
And I mean, to escape that, they do a lot of things too.
And we have the men on the ground who are able to detect all
So
those
how do you
things.
do it?
So we have the expertise.
Okay.
We have those diagnostic machines that we use when we suspect a vehicle. An officer can stand in the streets, flag a vehicle, just identifying that the vehicle, this is the type of the vehicle, cannot have this particular number that is registered on it, brings suspicion, and most of the time when they use the diagnostic machine, they realize that some things have been done and they are able to accost them.
Aside the vehicles, there are other things like you talked about the diapers. We didn't have a label. That's easy to tell because it doesn't have a label. But there are other goods that are complicated, which you cannot just look or touch to feel and say that, I mean, this is prohibited or restricted. So how do you do that? I mean,
so during risk analysis, we use X-ray scanners that are able to identify goods that are concealed. You see, most of the time, because they know that these are prohibited and restricted items, they will not declare them. And so scanners and infrared spectroscopy are the tools that we use to identify them.
okay. In this case, does the shipper or the ship owners, do they also bear any brand in this situation? Because the law states that the shipping companies must declare what they are bringing, isn't it? Yes. So when you get a hold of these goods, do you also fault the shipping companies, or you just deal with the owner of the goods?
We deal with the owner of the goods.
Why don't you bring in the shipping companies? Because the law states that you must declare what you are bringing in.
The master will bring a report. It is when they don't bring a report that we call it unmanifested goods, and we seize those goods and forfeit them to the states.
Okay. So you think that the shipping lines are free to go, even if they carry restricted goods and bring it to us, they should go free of charge.
We will look at that.
But more seriously, let's look at the systems and technologies that you use. I know ICOMS is there. ICOMS will give you all the details about the vehicle and everything, even before it gets here. Aside ICOMS, which other systems do you use? Which other technologies do you use to actually aid your work so you can effectively, execute your job?
So we rely more of intelligence. And as of right now, we have this advanced passenger information and advanced cargo information. That's tools that are being deployed to identify information about travelers. So when you are leaving here, perhaps you took one bag, and when you are coming in, you are bringing 10 bags. These tools are able to help us identify how you went and how you came in. And through rummaging, we are able to identify these prohibited and restricted items through physical exam. There are officers who can tap the side of a vehicle, and the sound will just tell them that things are being hidden here, and most of the time when they are able to bring them out, they find these prohibited and restricted items from them.
Okay, so in the event that you seize these products or the goods, how do you handle it? I mean, the handling of the goods itself, because there are people who complain that custom, they've seized my goods, and even before investigation, I can't find this, they've opened my container and all of that. Let's look at how you handle these restricted goods.
So the goods that might not necessarily be restricted. If you bring in goods and after 21 days, you have not been able to clear them, the law says the goods go to auction. They are bound to be auctioned. So that is a bit different from goods that are restricted.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah. For restricted items, when it's restricted items, we detain them because you are supposed to bring a permit or a license for it to be cleared.
Yeah.
So we detain for first 30 days.
Okay.
If within these 30 days you are not able to bring in the necessary documents for you to be able to clear them, then we seize. After seizure 30 days, if you still don't come, then we forfeit to the state. For prohibited goods, they are outright seizure.
There's nothing like we are going to investigate or we are giving you these days. The moment you get hold of it.
Prohibited goods, the one outright seizure.
So normally what do? You burn them? Or
depending on what items, we destroy them.
Okay. So I want to know, I mean, the items, which category and what really happens to those items.
So just like the Pampers, it was of no use to anybody. It's substandard, so it has to be destroyed. If you bring food items that are not safe, they will be destroyed immediately.
Okay.
If you bring in goods like chemicals, that's after, because you didn't bring in the necessary permits or certificates, those ones can be auctioned and to companies that are approved of their usage.
Okay.
Yeah. So normally EPA, when it comes to chemicals, EPA comes in to help in the disposal of these goods.
That's very interesting. But you know, there's this, there are a lot of many times that people blame custom. Number one, they say that custom intentionally or you deliberately delay some of these goods so that you collect money from the owners. A whole lot of accusations, okay? But you say you're doing your job. How do you ensure compliance, okay, without actually affecting trade? Because one of your mandates is also to help facilitate trade. So how do you juggle between the two?
Section 50 of our laws allows for pre-entry clearance of goods. The ICAMS has these two pre-manifest declaration. It allows importers or declarants to bring in their goods, start the processing. When they get in touch with their trade documents, they can start the processing till payment of duties, even before the goods arrive. This helps for them to clear their goods so that they will not incur any delay or any demurrage that normally comes up. If they are able to use that PMD, they will be able to clear their goods without any, and no customs officer intentionally delays goods just because they want to delay goods. Most of the time, delays come in when their documents, the trade documents that they bring are not up or they have questionable issues around them. Then we do some research to get to ensure that the documents that they are bringing to us are really compliant with our laws.
Well, I know that the law also talks about sanctions and penalties for some of these. Tell me about those sanctions.
So when you go to section 121, it says that a person who contravenes a provision of this act for which a specific punishment or penalty is not provided commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of no more than 2,500 penalty units or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 5 years or to both.
Okay.
When you go to the 2, it says where a person imports or is involved in importing any prohibited or restricted goods contrary to the prohibition or restriction, whether the goods are unloaded or not, it comes to that person commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of no more than 300% of the duty or tax evaded, or to a term of imprisonment of not less than 5 years and not more than 10 years. And in addition, all goods in respect of which the offense was committed is liable to forfeiture to the state. Okay. So I will entreat our trading partners to go through this. Like we said earlier, ignorance of the law is never an excuse. The laws has been, they should try and get acquainted with these things so that you all be free to conduct legitimate business.
What would you describe as your biggest challenge in enforcing the law?
Because we have some, quote unquote, men and women who are into business who don't really have the, if you ask me, the country at heart. We have such people ensuring that they will bring us documents that are not, they don't bring in original trade documents.
Yeah.
And it makes the work difficult for us.
But how do they even get away with that? Like, they don't bring in original documents, and some do get away with it?
So when we get them, the law allows that we use alternative methods in valuing and checking their trade documents. So when we get them, we are able to bring them to line to be able to ensure that we exact the correct duties that we need.
So that's what you describe as your biggest challenge when they bring in
yes, because
fake
if
documents.
they don't bring in fake, we will be clearing, we won't have much challenge.
But how prevalent is this, like smuggling and concealment, or let me say attempt to bring in these restricted goods? How prevalent is it?
So we hear of customs accosting them almost every day.
Every day?
Almost every day.
Wow.
Almost every day. We accost them. Our preventive sectors are accosting them every time. And because of that, it tells us that there are many more people who are trying to smuggle, but we keep telling them that all days for thief man, one day for master.
Yeah.
We'll get them. We'll get them.
Okay. But earlier you agreed that it's lack of awareness, okay? So we know that we're lagging when it comes to public education. So some people genuinely don't know that the law restricts this or that, so they find themselves wanting with that. So what do you recommend as a solution to this problem?
I would entreat all importers or declarants to get closer to customs or GRA with their intentions. If you intend to import, get to the head office import and export unit and bring us your challenges. We'll be able to help you to ensure that you are able to clear your goods without any challenges. They shouldn't be listening to people, because when they listen to people, that is when they will have conflicting information that might lead them to such problems.
Right, let me remind viewers that you can send in your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. The number to send in is 053-803-7353. That's not the number to call. I'll announce another number which you can call if you have any question for CRO. She will answer it and provide all the answers that you need for your question. But the number to send in your WhatsApp is on your screen right now. It's 053-803-7353. I know a lot more of you have challenges when clearing your goods at the ports. She's here. If you have any challenge or you need some clarification, you can send us your message on the WhatsApp and she will clarify for you. But I'm happy that you admitted that you wouldn't blame anybody because there's some lack of awareness there. I want to find out what is the role of the Customs Division of GRA in ensuring that people really know what is captured in the law?
So we have been doing continuous education. As we speak now, there is this launching of Sustained Touch Education Program, which is going to be launched by the President himself, President John Dramani Mahama, on the 5th of November. Our sector commanders scattered throughout the country are also embarking on this advocacy on radios, and they are trying to do it even in the local languages. So you find yourself in the, let's say, Upper West region. You can see a customs officer on radio talking about processes and procedures in the local language. It is being done. So they should listen out and work with us and collaborate with us.
And in terms of collaboration, okay, because you already indicated that you don't do this alone, you do it with other stakeholders, FDA, EPA, Ministry of
Agri,
and all of that. In terms of collaboration, how would you rate these other agencies in terms of all of you coming together to ensure compliance?
Okay, so we all have mandates. So like immigration, that we share the borders with them. We are collaborating with them. They are to deal with the persons, the human beings, and we are to deal with goods. But most of the time, we work together. We go into the fields, into the bushes together, and we are able to accost these miscreants. With the other organizations, like I said earlier, we have committees that we work within, and anytime any new thing comes up, we share this information for each other to help us.
What's your own assessment in terms of whether there are gaps in enforcement or whether you think there are overlap like responsibility among the agencies?
Okay, so when we talk of overlap, like I just mentioned, immigration, we share with them. We have come together, they have met on several platforms, and we have all understood our mandates, but we work hand in hand. So if I went to the bush and I find a person crossing through unapproved routes, I can send the person to the immigration. If they also find somebody with goods, they bring them to us. With the other, there's no perfect system.
Yeah.
We can always improve. And when we are working with FDA and all the other organizations at the port, we do this joint examination. There are times you might not get all, but we try to communicate. If there is a reason why one person is not able to come, we'll ensure that we get the information that we need to ensure that the goods are facilitated the best time.
All right, so when I return from this break, I still have CRO here. She'll be telling us more. We'll be delving into the realms of strengthening control over these prohibited and restricted goods. And we'll also be talking about technology and automation. What role does it play in enhancing customs executing their mandates as she spoke about, and public education, because she herself admitted that there's lack of awareness out there, and some people genuinely fall into this because they genuinely do not know the law. How do we ensure there is public awareness so that we can curtail some of the challenges that the customs face at the port? When I return from this break, I'll also be sharing with you the number to call to share with us your experience, or if you have any question, I will announce it for you to call into the discussion so we get interactive. I'll be back shortly. Do stay with me.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Ufilia, huh? Ubefi. Goil, good energy. Yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302-246319 or 0302-246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can also connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Welcome to the GPHA port of Takoradi, Ghana's first commercial port. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, has in its quest to position the ports of Ghana as the leading trade and logistics hub of West Africa, embarked on a massive expansion drive at its Takoradi port, the first commercial port of the country. This has resulted in a radical transformation of the initial 7-berth low-drafted port, which was constructed in 1928, to an ultra-modern port fitted with deep drafted container, multi-purpose dry bulk, and liquid bulk facilities. The 16-meter deep dry bulk terminal is the deepest in the sub-region, with a total quay length of 800 meters. It is fitted with a combined 3-kilometer length conveyor system, which comes with a 2,500 metric tons per hour ship loading capacity, which has greatly improved ship turnaround time at the port. The Marshall Liquid Bulk Terminal is a fully automated liquid bulk facility dredged to -14 chart datum and equipped with automated firefighting system. The facility is fitted with 5 loading arms for gasoline, diesel, LPG, bitumen, and heavy fuel. On the container side, Takoradi Port's 16-meter deep Yield-Port and ATSL container terminal with a quay length of 600 is expected to receive container vessels in the 3rd quarter of the year.
Implementation of axle load regulation by Burkina Faso. The attention of all stakeholders, particularly those engaged in the transit trade, is drawn to the decision by the government of Burkina Faso through the Burkina Faso Road Safety Authority to commence the implementation of UEMOA Regulation Number 14/2005 CM UEMOA effective September 1, 2025. This regulation seeks to harmonize standards and procedures for controlling the gross weight, axle load, and dimensions of heavy goods vehicles across UEMOA member states. Transitional measures. Effective September 1, 2025, all non-compliant trucks, domestic and foreign, will be denied access to Burkina Faso's road network. All stakeholders are strongly advised to take note of this directive and comply accordingly. This enforcement will also apply to transit vehicles using Ghanaian ports en route to Burkina Faso in order to prevent delays or denial of entry at the border. Scam alert. It has come to the attention of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority that certain unscrupulous individuals are fraudulently using the name of the authority to deceive and defraud members of the public. These individuals have circulated a post on social media falsely claiming that GPHA is currently conducting a recruitment exercise and urging the public to engage with them. We wish to state emphatically that GPHA is not conducting any recruitment exercise at this time, and the authority has not authorized any individuals or entities to advertise or facilitate such activities on its behalf. We urge the general public to disregard these fraudulent messages and to verify any official communication directly through our authorized channels. GPHA remains committed to transparency and will always communicate legitimate opportunities through its official website and recognized media platforms. Welcome back to Iron Port. Remember, Iron Port is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA and is supported by a myriad of companies, including GRA and MPS. And I was just smiling because I saw a message here. But before I read that message, let me share with you the number to call if you have any question for CRO is 0245-834980. 0245-834980. It will be on your screens, so you can call in and share with us. I've already mentioned the WhatsApp numbers, and this is a WhatsApp coming in from Samuel Bonsu. He says, she's on top of the issues being discussed. Keep it up, madam. So that's your accolade, CRO. And this is coming from Kwame Elom Komlaga. He says, why does custom keep changing HS codes on items when the manufacturers of those items have provided their own HS codes? You have an answer to that?
Manufacturers come up with HS code.
Okay.
And customs change. That's the question.
No, yes. So the manufacturers themselves have their HS codes on the items, and then customs change it. I mean, according to Kwame.
I would have loved if he has indicated the case in question. But what I can say is that we're using, so some HS codes that were in 2017, the HS might have changed in the 2022 HS. So that can happen. Other HS are opinions. So when you see the goods, the manufacturer might have put it at a certain tariff line, but opinions can determine that it's not supposed to be there. So I would ask him to draw closer to the classification unit at head office. They can help him solve his problem better.
Okay, this brings me to the question of how you verify goods. I mean, where goods are coming from. How do you do that? How do you do the verification?
So every good has a source.
Okay.
So we have expertise, we have tools that we use to determine whether the goods we have indicated that it is coming from China is really coming from China. And physical examination also helps us, so that when we see the items, we know that this cannot necessarily come from where you are saying it is coming from, but from other sources.
All right. I mean, I think there's a caller there. Okay, so there's a caller. We have a caller online. I'm yet to get your name, but good evening and thanks for calling us. Okay, Felix from Tema. Felix, what do you have for us this evening?
Madam, please, I want to ask, I've been in Tema for some time now, and I want to work. Right? I want employment.
Oh,
what are the procedures?
Okay, then you would have to reach us back door so we can talk more about that. It has nothing to do with today's conversation. So yes, we'll talk about that, Felix. They will pick your details at the back, and then we will have a conversation. But in terms of strengthening control over these prohibited and restricted goods, what's your recommendation? How do we jump this hurdle?
Okay, so we are in the IT world now. This one is helping us a lot. Technology increased technology can help. GRA is deploying AI and machine learning systems. We are doing risk profiling, we are doing data analytics, we are doing intelligence sharing. These, we trust that it will help us strengthen the controls over prohibited and restricted items.
I know that you're already automated, you're already using some technology, but of course, day in, day out, new technologies are coming, new stuff. You talked about AI and stuff like that. How do you intend leveraging these, digital softwares to improve on your work?
So when they are deployed, definitely it will be part of our day-to-day activities, and we'll be able to run the system with more efficiency.
How often do you run risk management auditing? And what role does it even play in your job?
I would say daily. I would say daily. The system runs these audits every time. That's why we are able to identify. So we have we used to call them gold card owners. So when we run these audits, we are able to identify importers or declarants who are compliant, and such companies. Right now we have AEO, authorized economic operators. These companies that we have identified that they are compliant, when they apply to have their status, we give it to them. And we are left with those who, when we monitor their activities, we are able to determine that maybe there is this shortfalls here, and that's how. So the auditing is done every day.
It's done every day. Okay, Kevin has just joined us from the Upper East region. Kevin, good evening. You are on Iron Port.
Good evening, madam.
Yes, Kevin. What do you have for us?
Yeah, normally I want to find out sometimes.
Kevin, you would have to lower the volume. Hello, Kevin. Kevin, you'd have to lower the volume on your television and call us back. We are hearing some feedback in the background. So we also admit as CRO that there is public education is central to the laws that we are dealing with if indeed we want to achieve 100% compliance. Where do we place it at this moment? Because, I mean, it's something we've all agreed that there hasn't been much. You said you've been doing some education, but we haven't really achieved much with that. How do we resolve this challenge?
So on all managers' table, on our action plans, stakeholder engagement is part of the action plans that we deploy. So every sector commander or every manager is expected at least to engage with their stakeholders about 4 times in the year. Through this, they are able to educate them to the processes and procedures of our work. So we engage them all the time. And like I said, education is ongoing. Apart from the miscreants who are like they are bent on doing their own businesses, and I want to extend this call to them that these prohibitions and restrictions, they are about national security concerns, they are public health and safety concerns, so environmental and cultural concerns, public health and safety. You bring in drugs, let's say red, and all these drugs that our youth are abusing. You see, utu edrobonia, ebi kawano. So, and treating all of them that you don't know who would take these stuff. It could be your brother, it could be your sister. So we should all get involved and ensure that prohibited goods and restricted goods do not come into our system.
Okay. Foster has just joined us on the line. Foster, good evening. Thanks for calling Iron Port. What do you have for us?
I had an experience a few weeks ago at the port, which I want to draw your attention and also need a clarification. We had a consignment at the port of Tema, which we were trying to clear for our consignee, which is the importer. Then along the line, the consignment went on UCL, which we've applied for UCL clearance, and we've been referred to the head office, Accra. Then along the line, we've cleared the UCL, and we've been referred back to Tema State Warehouse to be approved so that we can clear the consignment from the port and deliver to the consignee or the importer. But getting to the terminal where the container, according to the ICOM system, where the container has been discharged, when we realized they said the consignment has been transferred to Atlas, and we went to the Atlas. They said that the container has been auctioned. So I need a clarification that is it possible that after your consignment has gone on UCL, then you applied for a UCL clearance and you've been referred to Accra, which the commissioner has made their own verifications, and auctions also have done their verifications, and they've approved that we should go ahead and clear the consignment, which we've done necessary payments, shipping line invoices, and port charges and everything, getting to the terminal to clear our consignment, and we learned they auctioned the container, which we are not aware. Situation like this, how can we handle it?
Okay, CRO will handle that, but I know that before the container gets to UCL, it means that it must have chalked the 21 days, and then it will be taken there, right?
Yes.
So what's your response to?
He indicated that they went to the auction department and they told them that the goods have not been, is that what he said? That the goods have not been auctioned as at the time they went to the auction department? Because I would ask him to get closer to the sector commander Tema.
Okay.
For I'm not getting the
narration well, right? Yes, because if the container even gets to Atlas, and
I don't know how the container was moved from one point to the other, so he should just go to sector commander Tema. He will handle this claim.
To handle the situation for us. Okay, so but you were talking about the public education,
yes,
right?
So I'm saying that it is very, very important that we all get involved. If nobody brings in prohibited or restricted items, we will all be safe. Especially, we should think of the fact that it is our health and national security concerns. That is why these prohibitions and restrictions are there. So we should try as much as possible to get the necessary knowledge that we need, the necessary information that we need against importing these things that is likely to cause harm to our very selves in the country.
And in terms of, I know you deal with a lot of systems. ICOMS is one of the systems. If ICOM break down or somebody hacks into ICOM, I can imagine the chaos that it will create, because ICOM really serves a good purpose and it helps really in your work. So how do you ensure the integrity and security of your systems and data that you work with?
Okay, so the ICOMS has built up these data centers. We have a very big one at Kumasi right now that is able to contain any of these risks that you identify.
Yeah.
And it is our prayer that we will not be hacked.
Amen. Amen. Of course, that's not a wish.
That problem.
Yeah.
But we have built the systems that can handle these risks.
But you talk about importers who should collaborate with you. How do you want them to do that?
So, like I said, importers are stakeholders. sector commanders have been asked to engage their stakeholders. I know in Tema, I know in Jamestown, I know in the collections, they called meetings like that and they engage them to get to know their challenges, and they are always ready to give them information that they need. So if there is anybody out there who needs some information, they should just get to closer to the offices. They will be helped.
But you're talking about how the customers should get closer to the offices. But I want to know how you do your investigations. I mean, in terms of some of these complaints when they come at your doorsteps. I mean, how do you do those investigations? Because he says that the thing has been carried to UCL. That means that we have to go and do what we are supposed to do. And even before we've been asked to go and pay ABC, even before that, then we go and they say it's been transferred to another place and all of that. How do you do your investigations and ensure that it doesn't even affect the traders, even though they are at fault, but if you give them some leeway that, okay, go and do ABC, which I know sometimes it happens. There are some who genuinely, they fall into that category, but genuinely they are able to explain to you that no, we are not trying to evade tax, or we are not trying to play games, but it's a genuine mistake or something. So sometimes you work with those people to make sure they clear their containers. You may correct me if I'm wrong, but how do you do your investigations if some of these issues happen so that they are not affected in the long run?
Investigations are carried out on case-by-case basis. So
Okay.
like this gentleman came up with this, when it gets to sector commander, definitely sector commander will form a team that will look, the investigation team that will look at his case.
Okay.
We do case-by-case basis. So
Okay.
if anybody has challenge, you should just draw closer to they are closer than they think. They are closer than they think. They should get to them.
Okay. And before I allow you to go, I want us to look at how the importers can do their own accurate duty assessment before even coming to you, so that they avoid the normal disputes that we see sometimes when they are clearing their goods.
So on the external platform on ICAMS, we have duty calculation tools there that they can deploy, and in any case too, if they are not able to use it, they can always draw closer to the office, come up with I'm bringing in rice, I have this value, how much will the duty be? There are so many units that can handle that for them. So like I keep saying, they should just draw closer to customs with their challenges, and they will all be resolved.
Okay, let's listen to John from Accra, who has just called in. John, good evening and thanks for calling Iron Port. Okay, I think we've lost John there. We will, maybe you should try and call us again, John. In terms of seizing these restricted goods, restricted and prohibited goods, I wanted to find out how often you get these cases, because you said that some of these issues are audited or are investigated on case-by-case basis, but how often do you get some of these cases?
They are not in the majority. Compliant or importers, I would say, are more than the non-compliant importers. So as and when we accost them, we work on them.
Okay.
As and when we accost them, we work
But
on them.
it's not something that you encounter daily. So generally, I think before you go, you must give a message to your audience or the people that you work with, importers. What's your message to them so that some of these chaotic situations we see when people are clearing their goods will be curtailed, if not completely erased?
I must say that we are friends, we are partners, we all have one goal, and the goal is to ensure that Ghana gets the necessary duties and taxes that it needs, that is required to ensure that we are able to build and develop our country. I will entreat them that we are here to support legitimate businesses. We are here to support legitimate businesses. When they come to us and their business models are legitimate, we are ready to support and facilitate them. Those who are into the importation of prohibited and restricted goods, we are entreating them that if they should put a stop to it, and that it has health, safety and health concerns, which is not good for our country.
Sierra Winifred Odoi, I'm grateful for your time. She is head imports and exports of GRA Customs Division, and she's been explaining us and understand some of the issues that we face at the port. And her message to you is that you are partners, so you must collaborate with the customs to ensure that you clear your goods without any challenges. And Iron Port is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and our media partner is a Business and Financial Times, BNFT. Thank you so much for watching. Make time to watch the abridged version on GTV Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures: cocoa, cashew, shea,